Safety. Safety is a big one. There's plenty of advice not to visit Transnistria from most of the Western governments. I think it's BS, to be honest. I mean, I understand that if things go wrong, there's not much that they can do because the other authorities cannot get there unless there is a special authorization or some sort of consent. So to an extent, I get it that it's risky, but overall it's a police state, okay? And in a police state, you can be sure that locals won't mess up with you, because if they do, they will be in massive trouble. That's how it works in places where the state is massive. The state is a monster. So all we need to do is behave, understand what's the local law, and comply with the customs. Don't be too loud. Don't be extravagant. Just be there and do what you need to do, and pay attention if the authorities are around. Say if the police is around, you should just be quiet and just enjoying the scenery. It's okay to take photos, except of the military premises. So there's plenty of places to be photographed. No issues with taking a selfie. Just avoid photograph those military premises, especially because the Russians are there and they don't want to be photographed in these times where the war is just happening next door. So don't mess up with the authorities, and you'll be fine. That would be my advice. It's for sure an off the beaten path place. So if you are into that, Transnistria should be in your schedule. I think it should be a priority if you happen to be in Europe, or while you are traveling here or you are based in Europe. I think it's a place to visit as soon as possible. Also, because we don't know until when it will last. You know, the region is very unstable. Things are changing all the time. We don't know in which direction. So visit. I think you can. Myself, I can only recommend it since it's quite unique. It's not a place that you may not visit and then experience something similar in another state. I don't think it's replaceable. I think it's a place that it has a strong identity, and whether you and the only way to know it is to visit. There's no way around. So I would put it in my list. I would try to see it with my own eyes. It's I'm not going to exaggerate here, things are life-changing. That you won't be the same person after visiting Transnistria. It's not that, but it makes you think. It makes you. It gives you food for thought. So, yeah, if you wanna see how communism or the Soviet Union was, Transnistria can offer a glimpse of how are things back in those days. To call it the North Korea of Europe, I'm not sure. I was thinking about whether that title is correct or not. Perhaps yes. I cannot think of any other part of Europe that resembles more North Korea. Although I'm going to be very frank here, I haven't visited North Korea myself. But the fact that is in this limbo, the fact that they still openly admire communism, perhaps those two together justify the title of North Korea of Europe. And they are just next door to Moldova, and just setting aside now Transnistria and focus on Moldova itself. If you allow me, my main impression of the country is that they are begging to join the EU, and the reason for me to be sure of it is that there are plenty of EU flags all over the place, and no wonder with the war next door, the population might be thinking, where should they head for the next couple of years, and probably they think the safest is to go west. They might have good reasons for that. Again, I'm not going to get much into politics here, but it's clear that they are not that confident with the winds coming from the east, and they want to embrace the west instead. I don't think, from my understanding of the population, I don't think it's 100% a feeling of across the country. There might be exceptions, there might be disagreeable voices, but for sure that they are leaning that direction. That's another reason to visit Transnistria, because I was thinking, say Moldova joins the EU, what they will do with Transnistria? Because I cannot imagine an enclave of that dimension in the middle of the EU. Are they going to influence Transnistria to embrace the EU? Are they trying to negotiate some sort of deal with Russia? We all know how difficult that is, no? If you take in consideration what's going on between the Kremlin and Kiev. So it's a very, very, very tricky situation, and I don't know how it's going to be solved. But plenty of EU flags. That's really one of the things that stand out when we arrived in Chisinau. I was not expecting that myself. I'm not going to say I'm happy or unhappy with that. I will just say that it's way healthier to see EU flags and not Palestinian or trans flags as we see all over Western Europe. At least it's part of the European civilization. They are embracing European civilization. They are making a stand for our culture and not doing something just for promotion, which is what's going on in the West with putting up those flags. But I'm not going to get into it today. Still on the comparison, which is some people, whether we like it or not, we always do. When we visit a place, we not only see what is in front of their eyes. We always try to compare to the place where we came from, places we saw in the past. I mean, there's as unfair as it is, it's a human thing to put things in perspective. For sure, this place is not short of class and elegance, and that's absolutely fascinating. It resembled the old Russian road, or maybe a Russian road that is coming back, given that the Russians are more and more on the antipodes of the West. There's loads of locals, so you don't see much foreigners, whether tourists or migrants. There's very little of that. So there's a huge predominance of Moldovans, which is, in my opinion, it's healthy to see these days. And again, I'm not cursing on multiculturalism, but I like the idea that I'm in a place and I'm experiencing local culture, and local culture is just accessible. So I don't need to sneak to find a local restaurant or a local pub. No, I'm just experiencing local culture because it's around the corner. Now, I have to say that the fact that there is a huge predominance of local culture is usually related to government control, which is not something I endorse as a classical liberal or a libertarian. I'm not very happy to see limitation on freedom, of any sort, whether it's freedom of thought, freedom of expression, it's freedom of enterprise. And I'm not sure how much freedom people enjoy that he has. True that they are trying to be the Westerns, but I have the impression that there's not much room to divert.